Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I didn't even bother recording an out-of-theater reaction for this film. I actually just got home from seeing it because, I don't know, I didn't really feel like it was worth it to record that and then plan a whole separate review. My expectations going into these are pretty mid-level. I honestly didn't play the Sonic games too much as a kid, so there's not necessarily a nostalgia factor for me, but I'm rooting for them to be good, because why not, man? Let's just have fun. With that said, I thought the first one was incredibly average. Second one surpassed my expectations and was actually pretty decent. I think I gave that film like a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And you know what? For a video game adaptation, I think this third film is another step in the right direction for the franchise, although I shudder at the term franchise being used for this because I don't think it needs to become a massive cinematic universe with spin-offs and stories revolving around side characters. But despite a relatively weak first act that had me fearing the worst, this movie eventually becomes better than I ever thought it could be, and better than it honestly has any right to be. And I think most people are going into this film with one of two expectations. Either you're trying to entertain your kids, or you just want to have some dumb fun. So I'm going to keep this relatively short and focus on how I think this improves on the previous two. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, I think they finally realized that it's best to shift the human characters to the backdrop and focus on the animated animal characters, because they still look so awkward standing next to the humans, you know, fully digitally animated animals standing next to real people. There's such an uncanny contrast between those two things that when you put them together, they, for lack of a better term, they just look awkward. And the humans absolutely do have a role in this film. Tom is very important in driving the themes of the movie home, which he does through some very hokey dialogue that I think could have been executed better. But most of the screen time is occupied by Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, and Dr. Robotnik times 2. We get 2 of them in this film. We'll talk more about those characters and Jim Carrey in a few minutes. But what impressed me most about this film is that it has heart. There is a surprising amount of soul at the center of this film that I think has been severely lacking in the first two. And it goes to some dark places that I was not expecting from a PG-rated film, particularly with its main antagonist, Shadow, voiced by Keanu Reeves. This is a very tragic character with a dark backstory, and I like the way that they built him up to be this alter ego to Sonic, a what if. What kind of person might Sonic have become if he didn't find himself in such a loving environment, a home where he feels valued? I always appreciate it when a movie for kids is willing to explore heavy themes and use its characters to give them some worthwhile lessons. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Sonic the Hedgehog 3 actually goes for that. Although, admittedly, it is frustrating that most of the interesting characters are antagonists. Not that I don't enjoy the character of Sonic the way he's portrayed in this film by Ben Schwartz. It's just that most of the things that they do to progress him as a character only occur because of Shadow. Alright, so moving back into talking about Robotnik, as much as I thought I was going to be frustrated by the fact that they keep bringing this same antagonist back for more, he's at his absolute best here and in top form. He meets his granddaddy, so we have 2 Robotniks, both played by Jim Carrey. Obviously, one is in some heavy makeup to make him look older. And I'll tell you right now, I never knew how badly I needed to see 2 Jim Carreys interacting on screen. I'm pretty sure I heard that he made some comments somewhere about doing these movies because he cashes a pretty big paycheck each time he does. But I gotta give him some props. The dude is giving his absolute all. Some of the jokes in this movie are genuinely hilarious. I'm talking laugh out loud funny. The audience was in uproar. Sure, there are a few overused jokes that I would definitely qualify as being low-hanging fruit. You know, fart jokes, fat jokes, getting hit in the face. But the good far outweighs the bad. And if your main complaint with these Sonic films is that a lot of it is superficial CGI fuckery, you know, loud noises, bright lights, digitally animated hedgehogs going boom as they run fast and punch each other in the face. Yeah, a lot of this third movie is more of the same, but it's all in good fun. It feels like there is a genuine effort from the screenwriters to not only write funny jokes, but also to give character to these characters. It feels sincere not only in its use of items and various other things from the games, but also just in delivering a fun experience that I feel like movie theaters aren't providing enough these days. The first act did have me worried, but it started to pick up the pace and just kept getting better and better. The third act is all gas. I'm talking big stakes, absolute insanity, Some of the villains' motivations are unclear. Like, why do people always just want to destroy the world? That's such a stupid plan. And there are characters who have a change of heart, and it feels like it was maybe too easy to change their hearts. But who cares? I was having fun. Sure, Sonic can be a little annoying sometimes. Tails and Knuckles are really just there to crack jokes and to be the sidekicks. Kristen Ritter appears as a secondary villain who honestly doesn't need to exist at all. There are so many problems in this movie that should make me hate it, and yet I was just having a good time with this. And it's not like I have some sort of personal bias towards it, so I don't know what to tell you guys. You could probably find a lot of the same issues in this movie if you dig deep enough as like the last 10 Marvel movies, and yet it has that sincerity to it. You gotta love Keanu Reeves too. He has such a distinctive voice, and I think he's an excellent addition to this ensemble cast. You know what? I'm gonna be bold here and give this 3.5 stars. Maybe I'm riding a high that will ultimately prove to be fleeting, and eventually I'll be like, why the hell did I give this such a high score? But this year has not been particularly rich with movies that succeed in being pure self-aware fun in the same way that this was. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, as dumb as it is at times, as studio mandated as it may feel, they could have easily made this as an obligatory film to push their franchise forward and cash some checks. It won me over in the end. So if you managed to get out and check this film out, be sure to let me know down in the comments what you think of it, and hit that like button as well as subscribe while you're at it if you want to see more content like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.